largest crowd in WNBA history.
Best dish forward, plays it up and in.
Now we want to be world champs.
Hit it. Ruth Riley's got 4 straight. The shots are number 1.
Welcome Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer and founder of She's Got Time, Swin Cash-Canal. Managing Director of USA Basketball, Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer and Detroit WNBA investor, Grant Hill. Corporate Board Executive, CEO Advisor, and Community Strategist, Sandy Pierce. Vice Chairman of Pistons Sports and Entertainment and past Chair of the Board of Directors of the Detroit Regional Chamber, Tellem. To moderate the conversation, please welcome the President and Chief Executive Officer of Siebert Williams Shank Co. and the Chair of the Board of Directors of the Detroit Regional Chamber, Suzanne Shank.
Good afternoon. It's great to be back on the island this year, and the theme, Equation for Impact, fits perfectly with our panel today. In January, as you saw in the video, Tom Gores and an expansive coalition of civic and business leaders did a formal bid to bring the WNBA back to Detroit and to the state of Michigan. And the bidding group comprises some of the most accomplished names in sports, media, finance, business, and entertainment. And so we're going to talk today about our chances that we hope are quite good. In full disclosure, I'm also an investor and very hopeful that we are successful. So first question for you, Arn. In 2017, you served as Tom Gores' chief negotiator to bring the Pistons back to Detroit after a 39-year absence. 2 years later, you championed the Henry Ford Detroit Pistons Performance Center in New Detroit, and last year solidified the Detroit Pistons partnership with Michigan State University and Henry Ford Health on a broad vision for the Future of Health project. So tell us, when did the vision of bringing the WNBA back to Detroit come to fruition for you and Tom Gores?
Well, really, it started. This will be my 10th year in Detroit, and it started in those initial conversations with Tom 11 years ago when we started talking about me possibly coming to Detroit. And he had a bold, ambitious vision, not only to win basketball games, which took us a little longer than we hoped, but we're there now, finally, but also to make the greatest impact we could in the community using the Pistons as a platform. That really was his ambitious vision, to see where we could go and make a difference in our community. And even 11 years ago, we talked about the possibility of a WNBA down the road once we got going. And sure enough, as you mentioned, we did these other checklists, the key things, moving the team back downtown. We just didn't want to play games in Detroit. We wanted to make Detroit our home, then building the headquarters with Henry Ford Health, and now our next development with Henry Ford Health in Michigan State. And then the WNBA, a couple years ago, announced their intent to expand. And I went back to him, and he said, absolutely, let's go for it. And that's really when it all, we began in earnest really going after it. But it was really back to those early conversations 11 years ago when we discussed what my coming to Detroit might mean and why it would work for him and for me was this vision of his to make the greatest impact possible, which we're trying to do.
And can you talk about the investor group? How did you put the investor group together? What names can you divulge? Well, there have been articles, but...
All right. Just, again, it goes back to that vision of Tom's was that to make the greatest impact, I wanted to send a statement to the NBA and the WNBA about the power of Detroit. And I wanted to show the strength, to me, the greatest strength of Detroit is its people. And we wanted to show in its people the collaborative spirit and its civic pride. And that started with my first call to Sheila Fort Hamp to join our group. And she said immediately yes. And then I reached out to this person in the middle here, Grant Hill, because I knew he would have a great impact as a great Hall of Famer, an Olympian. He was on the board of Duke with Adam Silver, and I knew they were close friends. And there is no one more respected than Grant Hill, and so we got Grant. And then Grant mentioned I should go after Mary, and Mary Barra, and she said yes. And it led to you, Sandy, and one of the nice things is not only to have Tom as the owner of the Pistons, and we have Sheila Fordhamp, but to have Denise Illich, and to have Ethan and Gretchen Davidson from Ethan is Bill Davidson's son, to have all the ownership groups that have meant so much to this city as part of this group, and we have other business leaders, and then to add Chris Weber and Jared Goff, who was here last night, was fantastic. We have just a tremendous group, and we're really excited about it. And I think, by the way, when you go back to our chances, I think Adam and the WNBA all said that we blew them away with our ownership group. They were so impressed, and I think hopefully in the end that's going to help win the day here.
Absolutely. So let's go to Grant. And by the applause, I think everyone knows who you are. But But, your accolades are incredible. 2-time NCAA champion, 7-time NBA All-Star, Olympic gold athlete, managing director of Team USA's winning men's basketball team in 2024, NBA analyst for Turner Sports. You're also part owner of the NBA's Atlanta Hawks. We'll forgive you for that. Major League Soccer's Orlando City and the National Women's Soccer League's Orlando Pride. So given the breadth of your engagement in the sports world in general and in basketball in particular, what is it about a Detroit WNBA team that really is appealing for you?
Well, I think a few things. First of all, I think the momentum and sort of the movement that's happening overall in women's sports, the time is now. And we've always had incredible women athletes and women basketball players, and including Swin Cash, among others. But now I feel like after 25 plus years of the WNBA, now you're starting to see it sort of resonate with everyone. You have the media partners are starting to pay attention more. The ratings are higher. Corporate partners are more engaged. So it's a great time. And if you look at the NBA and the NFL and sort of the traditional sports, they've been around, for 100 years or 75 years. They've gone through the ebb and flow. They've grown. They're here to stay. And I feel like the WNBA is on this incredible growth trajectory. And so it's exciting. So from a business standpoint, I think it's a smart investment. So I think we're all feeling good about that. But then for me, selfishly, to do it in Detroit, to come back, a city where it all kind of started for me, where I was drafted. Where I met my wife. I clearly overachieved in that department. But what's really exciting, just the city, the community, the fans here. Like, it's just a passion and a sense of pride for all things Detroit, but in particular their sports teams. And so I was around when the Detroit Shock first started, and I used to scrimmage against the Shock in my off season, their season, and to see what Swin and her teammates did, to be able to bring that magic back now to the city is something that's really, really exciting. So I think it's just a great time to invest in women's sports, and couldn't be a better place than in Detroit.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Speaking of Detroit, the only native Detroiter on the stage, we all know quite well, Sandy Pierce. Sandy, you're one of our most dynamic business leaders who happens to be a woman. I'm not going to say our most dynamic women business leaders. Why did you choose to be an equity investor in this effort around women's sports?
Let me just say first, Tom and I are honored to be invited into the investor group, so thank you for that.
We're thrilled to have you.
You think about sports. Sports has always had the power to unite Detroit. And look what happens when our teams are thriving. The restaurants are packed. The streets are alive. The feeling is really electric. And long term, sports plants the seeds that really help young people see new possibilities. And you see additional investment in infrastructure, jobs being created, small businesses, growing up. And the legacy that this has an opportunity to lead is way beyond the scoreboard. Personally, I did grow up in the city of Detroit. Many people in this room know that my parents owned a bar on Shane Street, and we lived in a flat above the bar. I'm the youngest of 10 children, and I was the first one able to go to college because we were poor, and I had good grades, and this is where I'll tear up, I'm sure. So I am grateful to be able to give back in a small way to the city that raised me.
We are so fortunate to have arguably one of women's basketball's most decorated athletes, so you have to indulge me here again. And I forgot to say Grant is also a Hall of Famer, because Swin is also a Hall of Famer, a two-time national champion, NCAA Final Four Most Outstanding Player, Olympic gold medalist, four-time WNBA All-Star. Swin, you were a Detroit Shock and helped lead them to championships. What was your favorite Shock memory?
Wow. Obviously, you go to the championships. I think with any athlete, people always think you're going to say the championships. It was never the final championship for me. It was always the journey. I think with your teammates in that locker room, what you build throughout the season, it's what truly, to Sandy's point, galvanizes the city. When you see 21,000 packing out the Palace in Auburn Hills, which still actually holds the record in the WNBA for the most fans ever in a finals game. So. Wow. When you see your team having to move from Auburn Hills and you're in another finals, and then you're at the Joe Louis, and then you're packing that out, and they're trying to find standing room tickets. We always knew what the WNBA could be. And my fondest memory right now is not so much about me, but it's watching where the league is and understanding how so many women that played in Detroit, sacrificed, won championships, loves this city, could possibly have another opportunity to cheer on a team that you all will bring back to the city. So that, for me, is kind of where I sit right now, and what plays a big part in my heart is thinking about packing out another arena. Little Caesars, right, Aaron? That's where
Right.
If they come back, yeah, would be amazing.
That's great. That's great. So let's go back to the vision and the community impact, Aaron. Can you talk about the community component of this and plans around youth development?
Sure. Again, it goes back to that vision that Tom really saw, that he wanted us to push it as far as we can in making the greatest community impact. And so we're going to when we built the Pistons Performance Center, I'll use that as the model, we decided to we made it in partnership with Henry Ford Health, who's probably our most important partner for the Detroit Pistons. And we built it on their campus, and we made it public. We wanted to make it a community asset. That was part of Tom's vision, to make it open to the community. We built it in a way that was open to the public. We put a public gym in, Planet Fitness. It was their first attempt, really, to have a public facility in the city of Detroit. It's now one of their most successful gyms in all the Detroit metropolitan area. We got Plum Market to come down. I dangled them the catering for the team. I said, you can have the catering for the team if you open a public market for the community, and they did. And that's now thriving. And the idea here is to push it to now a further limit, to push it even further, to make this new headquarters for the WNBA team really a true community asset and build it on a campus that is for the community. And that's where we plan to build a sports youth academy that's going to serve all the kids of Detroit. And it's really to promote youth. And the idea there is to promote youth sports, to break down barriers to access, which in Detroit there is a lack of quality facilities for all the schools, for junior high schools and for high schools, to field even teams. So to break down barriers to access, and to give every child in Detroit the opportunity to play, compete, no matter their zip code. And so the idea really in the Youth Academy would be to have 5 or 6 high school level basketball courts, and each basketball court can convert into 2 volleyball courts. So if you have 5 basketball courts, that can be 10 volleyball courts. To have locker rooms, an NBA level weight training facility for the youth. And we're going to talk to the communities to see if there's other things we should add. And the Lions, Sheila had the idea of having playing fields. So we're going to have 5 or 6 soccer/flag football fields. So we can have a vibrant soccer flag football program year-round. Well, maybe not in January and February, but March through November. And in the summer, we're hoping to build seating capacity for several thousand people. So we could field high school tournaments, AAU tournaments in the summer, make this a destination. So in the end, Detroit youth which produces tremendous athletes, they don't have to leave Detroit and go to school elsewhere. They can stay in school here and thrive, and also be a place where all kids from all over Michigan and all over the country can come and play and interact with Detroit youth. So I think it'll be a great academy. It's on a beautiful site. It's at the end of the Riverwalk, right near the Belle Isle Bridge. And we're going to try to design it in a way that it'll be a major community event center. Because when you look at Canada, you can look downtown, you can look out at the Belle Isle Bridge. It's a spectacular site. And I think the whole community in the city will really love it. So,
Great. Thank you, Susan. That certainly deserves applause. Absolutely.
I just want to add this because I know everyone's applauding, but you have to understand, and for me as obviously a former W player, how important that investment is. Okay, over the last year, my husband knows this, I've had multiple people when they were putting in for bids want to ask me questions about what does it need to look like? And there's different ownership groups that talk about, well, we could take over a college for a little bit, have the women practice, and then build the facility. Like, this investment group is coming in saying, not only are we investing in women for the WNBA, we're investing in the community, we're investing in the youth, and that's what the WNBA was built on. Like, that collaborative mindset. And so that's why I was so happy to be here, Arn, because the vision isn't just about investing in women, which is good business. I didn't say just a charity, it's good business.
Good business, right.
But that community and youth piece is so big for Detroit, and it's going to be the model for anyone else that's coming into the W. Those old days are gone. Like, you may be at a standard here, but it's going here, and I'm so happy as a former player to be here talking about it today.
Great, great. It's so good to know that Detroit tries to do it right, and under your leadership, Arn and Tom Gores, we're trying to do it right. Grant, you have 2 daughters who are elite athletes, and I hear you might be a girl dad.
I am.
And so you know firsthand the competition level of women's sports. How have you seen the basketball skill level grow from the beginning of the NBA to now?
The game just, both in the women's game and the men's game, it just continues to evolve. And it's evident. You saw the Pistons this year. You saw them in the playoffs. You watched the WNBA, which just started. The shooting, the skill level, the training, all of that. And it should. It should continue to evolve and get better. It's more of a global game now. I know at least in the NBA, I think more than 25% of the players in the NBA are international players. So to think when I was drafted in 1994 in Detroit, to think about the game of basketball overall, it was just starting, coming off the heels of the '92 Olympics, sort of starting to spread its reach all over the globe. And now it has done that. And it is hugely popular. It's exciting to see the growth. and it's fun to be a part of. And just sort of getting back to the community part, I wanted to piggyback on both of them. The power of sport is incredible. And, you know, I was in Little Caesars Arena. I was working. I was in the arena calling a game, but to see so many people, different ethnicities, I'm sure different political affiliations, all putting aside their differences and cheering for that red, white, and blue. And there was a little bit of teal in there too, I saw. But to see everybody, like, that's what sports does.
Yes.
And it inspires, it entertains, but it brings people together. I feel like this investor group that we're so lucky to be a part of really sort of embodies that. And so I'm just like, wow, this is a dream come true in more ways than one. But the power of sport is amazing, and the power of basketball. Yeah. What basketball has done, how it's grown, how it's all over the world now. It's fun to watch.
That's great. So Sandy, you know, it's hard to get Lions tickets, increasingly hard to get Pistons tickets, and now the Tigers are on fire as well. Can Detroit really support another big team?
You just heard, they answered for me. Absolutely. You know, sports are a catalyst, and we are ready for this team.
Yeah.
We are. So, Swin, I want to hear a little more from you on how you have seen the WNBA league change over time. Is there anything that you see today that you wish you had known when you were playing, or you wish those in, you know, running the league knew? Just the evolution of the game?
Actually, no.
No?
No, and I don't say that in a cocky way. I say that in a very confident way. I think the women who were in the league, who were having the conversations, Siebert and I went to college together, and we were roommates, and we talk about it all the time of one, were we not only ahead of our times, because with that NIL grant, I'm telling you, UConn owes me reparations, but we'll get to that at a different point. But I mean, we kept saying that this game is like, we were waiting for the country, for everyone else to buy in, for corporate America, for everyone to stop stereotyping everything about the WNBA and just fall in love with the game. And Grant just said this, the more time women are coming in now because they've seen at a younger age, I need to start crafting my game because the WNBA is there. So the skill set is getting there, the speed of the game, everything, the shooting, all of those skill sets, you're able to work at a younger age because you're not just preparing for college, they're dreaming about the WNBA. What I'm most proud of right now is the investment piece of it. We always said, if you can find the game, media, now you can find where the game's at. This has changed the game. NILs and younger women in college branding themselves, you already fall in love with them at the collegiate level, and now they're coming into the WNBA and you can follow them. So everything we thought could come to fruition is happening, and I'm so happy that it is going to continue to go this direction.
And now we're seeing WNBA players brand their own merchandise, and they're walking the red carpets at the Met. You know, so I'm just happy to see that all coming around finally.
Well, Susan, in business too, people can, what do they say? Men lie, women lie, the numbers don't, right?
Right.
The women are doing numbers. Even their recent game, most watched, game between Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, 2.7, I believe it was, million people watching. The numbers are telling, and they're dictating where people are spending. Mm-hmm. And if there's some sponsors that are in here, you're having conversations of, are my dollars going over to this investment, or is it going here because of the reach? And so we're starting to see more of that. Again, I said earlier, investing in women is good business.
Absolutely. So, we often talk about wins and championships, but What would long-term success look like for a new WA franchise owner, anyone?
Well, it's winning on the court and winning off the court. It's not one or the other, it's both. And obviously, we want to build here a successful, sustainable, winning team that the city and the state can be proud of. And we intend to do that, and we'll certainly have expertise to help us. And off the court, again, is trying to make the greatest community impact we can. It's to drive economic opportunity and to help improve the lives of the young people of our community and give them a better chance at a better future. And I think that's what we intend to do, and we're going to be committed to do that in every way we possibly can, starting with the Youth Academy. And we've done a lot with the Pistons, and it's just this is going to continue to amplify that effort to make the difference that we're making in this community.
So we have all these high-powered women in the investor group, you know, the Sandy Pierces, the Mary Barras, the Sheila Fordhamps. You know, I really think this could be an inspiration for women in sports from a business perspective, teaching women the business of sports. Sandy, thank you. You know, how do you think we could make that happen? How could we serve as an inspiration for the next generation of women leaders?
You know, when you invest in spaces that allow young girls to learn, to grow, and to compete, you actually open doors that have historically been closed. And you're telling them that their dreams are valid and their place in the game, in leadership, in business, in life is real. And that's what this does, because it gives them, all young girls, the opportunity to see themselves in the future. And they can be whatever they want to be. And this is just part of the platform to help get them there.
Like if you see it, you can be it, right?
You bet.
So I hope that's the plan. So I'm going to ask each of you a round of questions. And we can start with you, Swin. What's your favorite thing about the WNBA now?
My favorite thing about the WNBA right now would have to be the play. Like, I love watching the game, and I love how they compete. And I love that they're business women off the court, seeing how it has evolved and owning not only their brand, but investing in other teams. Like that to me is really special.
Great. Grant, any thoughts?
I mean, pretty much the same thing. I love the competitive nature of what I see and watching them. Like, they get after it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, sometimes in the NBA, everybody we're all buddies with each other, and they want to brother-in-law each other, and, you know, but like in the WNBA, it's kind of 90s, 80s basketball. Right. Like, they get after it. They don't always like each other, no. But the competition and the rivalries are real. And so as a fan, in a weird, sick, twisted kind of way, I guess, you kind of enjoy that. Yeah. You know that they really want to beat each other, which is fun to watch.
Yeah. My father, he's 92 years old, and he watches more women's basketball than men's basketball. He has, from college through out, he could tell me much more than I know about women's basketball. Sandy?
I just think recognizing the talent of women today, finally getting the recognition that they deserve and the opportunity that they deserve, and for all of us to be so proud of that. I think it's great.
Great. All right.
I had the great chance when I was an agent to oversee our women's practice, and I actually brought a women's practice into our company in WNBA and women's soccer. And having met those athletes, it left a lasting impression on me, because they are, as great as the men are, I think they're even greater as ambassadors for the sport. They're so appreciative of the platform they have, and they use it so effectively to be ambassadors into the community. And that's one of the things I'm really excited about here, is adding that team here and knowing the difference and the impact they're going to make on young people and in this community. I think they're going to be fantastic, fantastic. Just beyond just what they do on the court, what they're going to do in this community is going to be unreal. And that's going to be an incredible impact for the city.
Great. Yeah. Who's your favorite? Great. Yes. So, who's your favorite WNBA player to watch now? Each of you. Start with Arn.
I can't. I'm not going to say Caitlin Clark. But before I would say was Asia Wilson, Breanna Stewart were probably my two favorites.
Okay.
I have to say Caitlin Clark.
Right.
I just have to, because she has, I mean, when she plays at home, it's sold out. Whatever she plays anywhere, it is sold out. And the social media and the Caitlin Clark effect, I think that's important. And she's, you know, it's like these two have said, I mean, it makes a difference. It's evolving, and I think she's a big part of it.
Sandy, she's a bad girl. It's okay
That's
to
right.
say Caitlin Clark. It's okay. She got game. Trust me.
Yeah.
She can go.
There's so many. I think Asia Wilson. I had a chance to see her up close in person, along with her team at the Paris Olympics, and she, you know, she was. I knew she was good, but just seeing how she gets after it, I thought she was the best player this summer for the women's national team. So Asia Wilson.
All right.
You will not get me in trouble. I love them all.
Oh.
I love them all. I absolutely love them all.
I figured that might be difficult for you, so I'm going to say mine, who I think is coming on strong this year, Nafisa Collier.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, who preliminarily is expected to be the MVP this year, so we'll see. Yeah. I don't know if that's smart or stupid.
No, she can go too.
She's coming.
She can
Yeah,
go too.
coming
She's a
along.
great player, and she's a husky.
Oh, right. So, if the team isn't called the Shock, what name would you give it? Any thoughts there?
Detroit. I'm going to stay with the Shock.
You want the Shock? Okay.
I'm the Shock, but we'll see.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm not incredibly creative, but I think, you know, I think when I think of Detroit, I think of the investors. There's like we talked about, collaboration, and there's just a wonderful spirit, I think, that exists in Detroit. So, Detroit spirit.
Oh, that's good.
I
That's good. I like that.
like that.
Maybe I am
Be a
creative.
winner. That might be a winner, yeah.
I like that. You're going to know why I'm not in marketing when I say the Detroit Pistonettes.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
I don't think that's
I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
Listen, that's better. I thought she was going to say the Lady Pistons. Absolutely not, Sandy.
And Arn, I know this is probably hard for you to do, but what are your thoughts if it's not the Shock?
I like Spirit. I think Spirit, there is a problem with Spirit, 'cause it may be used by there may be another team, this Spirit, but
He's already checked.
there's all kinds of, I'm a lawyer, so there's all kinds of legal issues. I wanted to do something, if we didn't go with Shock, maybe going to our musical heritage and Motown, but that raises a whole nother level of legal issues. But to me, the Supremes were the greatest. I don't know if it's possible. Could be but we'll see.
Okay.
I like that. That's good.
Well, we're
Our
out of
backup
time.
plan is the Pistonettes.
Oh, Piston.
Nobody's got that.
We are out of time, but I have to ask Arn, are we going to win this bid and bring the WNBA back to Detroit?
Let me just say this. We've been hearing very positive things out of New York. I wouldn't be sitting here today if I wasn't optimistic. So keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll hear good news soon.
Let's all keep our fingers crossed. Thank you. Okay.